Alrighty, first things, I just want to apologise for the delay in getting this video out. Obviously I'm a little bit late. I was hoping to get this out by New Year's, but obviously that didn't happen. Mainly because I was kind of like 2 or 3 months behind on releases this year, so I kind of had to catch up on a lot of releases. So that's why I'm only getting it now. I'm only getting it out now. So forgive me for that. Secondly, to my followers and subscribers, I know I have been pretty slack with posting this year. I've just been super busy at work, and honestly, I kind of just haven't really felt like posting that much. So yeah, that's that. But obviously, you know, I never miss this time of year doing the top 20 albums of the year. I always love doing that, and this year is obviously no different. Also, just a heads up, if you do hear a bit of a whirring or a bit of a sound in the background, that is the fan, because I'm Australian. Here in Australia at the moment it's summer, and I don't have aircon in my music studio, so it's like freaking bloody hot, and I'm going to be sweating by the end of this video. So yeah, toughing it out for you guys. So I've been doing this for quite a long, since 2019, and the way I do top 20 albums of the year is, obviously if you've been following this channel, you know I'm a massive big music nerd. So essentially what I do is I have 9 musical criteria. I rank those for each album out of 10, and then I average it out of the 9 to get an overall album score, and that's how I work out the ranking. And that's just the way I like to do it. Totally fine if you just you don't like that, that's not what you do, that's totally cool. If you do want to dive into more about how I work that out, then you can go to the first video I ever posted, which I think is 2019. I think I've been doing it for sort of 6 years now. But you can, I talk about that for a bit longer there, but so I don't bore the rest of everyone else, which is the majority of people, I'm going to jump straight into the top 20 albums of 2025, and hopefully you find some new ones that you haven't listened to, and you can go back and jam some sick gems. So, starting out at number 20, we have Demonstration of Post-Apocalyptic Warfare by Orbital Gate, and I gave this 7.3 out of 10. Now, Orbital Gate is a brutal death metal / slam band from the US, and this is actually a one-woman band. Essentially everything is done by Eva Van Dyne, and honestly she's really awesome. A really cool, kind of just like catchy, silly, fun, Fallout themed brutal death metal album. Quite short, quite straight to the point, good replay value, just chuck it on, good for the gym, good for just banging your head and being a silly goose. But some really well put together, just kind of silly, groovy, slammy brutal death metal. If I had to pick a favourite track on the album, let me have a look. It probably would be either All-American Aggravated Assault, Overriding the Neurocomputational Matrix, or Millie on My Wrist, Big Iron on My Hip, because that's just a fucking stupid funny song. Good fun, really good fun. So yeah, if you want to check out some cool, fun, slamming brutal death metal, definitely go check out Orbital Gate's Demonstration of Post-Apocalyptic Warfare, and yeah, good fun, man. Alright, moving on to number 19, and this honestly took me by big surprise. This number 19 is Perfect Blue by Scumbag. Now, these guys are groove metal from, let me have a look, Russia. Actually, they are from Russia. Well, according to Metal Archives, they are from Russia. And these guys are like groove metal, but it's kind of almost like if you combine Blood Simple with Lamb of God, with Crowbar, and then a bit of like blues, southern, new metal, kind of, all those kind of things jumped, kind of put in there. It's kind of, that's their kind of sound. Oh, and I gave this 7.4 out of 10. I should have mentioned that at the start, I'm sorry. But yeah, honestly, this took me by quite surprise. Like, I never heard of these guys before. I saw it kind of looked interesting, but it's got a really, really, really solid sound. Very interesting album musically. Sounds great. As I said, a really, really, really killer kind of hard-hitting guitar sound. Really fun, really groovy album with a lot of different influences. And it's just a really good fun listen. So if you're into something a bit different, something groovy, something a bit of that southern style, new middle-ish, you know, go check out Perfect Blue by Scumbag and have a good time. Favourite song on the album? Ooh. It's pretty difficult because there's quite a few, like it's quite a long album. In terms of songs, quite a lot of songs. Probably, Last Living Harlequin was a pretty solid song from memory. I'm going to go with that because I can't remember something that I loved kind of more of a song. I didn't necessarily love a particular song anymore over the others. So I'm going to go with The Last Living Harlequin as my favourite song. Alright, moving on to number 18, we have Degeneration Chamber by Condition Critical, and I gave this 7.4 out of 10. And these guys are thrash metal from the US, from New Jersey. And obviously these guys have been around for a little bit. They've been around since about 2010. And I love their previous record, Extermination Plan, which came out in 2016. And obviously they've been quiet for nearly 10 years. And they now have Degeneration Chamber. And honestly, this is like a really, really, really well put together thrash record. Just some really sick, hard-hitting thrash riffs. Very, very old school, riff-centered thrash metal. Yeah, just a really, really good thrash record. Favorite song probably would be Cranial Dissolution. Or yeah, probably Cranial Dissolution, or maybe Incubation Disposal. I don't know. There's a couple of songs. Like honestly, there's not really many bad. I wouldn't say there's any bad songs on the record. Like maybe some that are not as good as the others, but they're all pretty solid. So if you like your thrash, definitely go check that one out. I would say that's probably on most thrash heads' radar. If you're into thrash and you haven't checked that out, what the fuck are you doing? Go listen to it. And yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to say on that one. I'm trying to keep this video kind of short because I can ramble. Remember last year's was longer than I wanted it to be. And it takes a lot of time to edit, so I'm going to keep moving on. I'm just going to kind of say my favourite things about each record, and then, yeah, go check them out if you haven't. Alright, moving on to number 17 of the year, we have Benediction with Ravage of Empires. Now obviously, if you're into metal, you should know Benediction. If you don't, they are death metal from the UK. Dave Ingram, obviously ex-Bolt Thrower vocals, and then a lot of other really great musicians. I gave this, let me have a look, what did I give it? 7.5 out of 10. Yeah, really another solid follow-up to their previous record. What was the previous record called? Scriptures of... Oh no, it's just Scriptures. Yeah, I really loved... I think that was my album of the year in 2020, I think, or the top 3 albums. This continues that. I would say it's probably not quite as... It's obviously... I mean, this is number 17 versus top 3. So it's not quite as good as Scriptures, but it's still very good release, and definitely worth checking out if you enjoyed Scriptures, and if you like old school death metal, because they're very, very old school death metal, but with very good, I'd say, production. Like the last 2 albums, the thing I've loved about Benediction and then their modern albums is their production is like really crisp. Really, you can make out everything that happens. It's separating between instruments and vocals very clear. That's something I like about Dave Ingram's vocals, is that he has that kind of nice growl, hoarseness, but you can tell what he's saying fairly easily, even if you haven't listened to him or Benediction a lot. Like with a lot of death metal, it's hard to understand what they're saying unless you listen to that vocals a lot and you kind of understand their accents and their pronunciation and stuff. Whereas Ingram, you can kind of make out majority of what he kind of says, even if you haven't listened to him much before, which I do appreciate. And then the production on this also really does help that quite a bit. Favorite song on the record, probably A Carrion Harvest, Beyond the Veil. Yeah, probably those two. Crawling Over Corpses is pretty solid as well. Yeah. Alright, moving on to number 16 of the year, and we have Visceral Explosion with Sanguinous Hymns for Disembowelment. I gave this 7.5 out of 10 again, and these guys are brutal death metal, and I guess a bit of slam, whatever, more so brutal death metal, I guess, from South Korea. Pretty much a two-man band, I believe. This was released like right at the start of January, and it's held up. It's honestly just like a ridiculously well put together, kind of just filthy, kind of brutal death metal. Very interesting vocal style. Maybe not interesting, but it's different to the majority of brutal death metal releases that you hear, at least in the last few years and this year. It kind of has like this very sustained kind of brutal death metal, guttural kind of thing. And just riffs after riffs after riffs, and just a really well put together, fun, kind of great for the gym, absolutely filthy, groovy, brutal death metal. Favourite song would have to be probably Gluttonous Barbaric Carnage, or Amputating Fetus and Hysterectomy. Like, you should just go chuck this on, and look at some of the the song titles. It's fucking great. I love it. It's just really good. And I haven't seen this talked about at all, but it's a really good brutal death metal record. So if you're into brutal death, check that one out. You won't be disappointed. Alright, moving on to number 15 of the year, and we have Initium Mors by Barbarous, and I gave this 7.7 out of 10. Now these guys are death metal from the US, and this is their debut album. Actually, they have one EP that came out in 2024, and this is their debut record, and it's a very good, very, very solid debut record. Nice and succinct. I think it's about 30 minutes. Can't see the total. Actually, no, I can see the total length. If I click this and then go into this, it is just under 30 minutes. So it's a very succinct, straight to the point, old school death metal, kind of very old school kind of sounding death metal record. Yeah, just a very solid death metal record. Favorite song on this album, I would probably have to say, probably the Tombspawn. That was a solid fucking song from memory. By Lead or Steel, also quite good too. But yeah, if you just like straight to the point, death metal doesn't really fuck around and doesn't bullshit you with extended intros or overly progressive long songs, then check out Barbarous, because that is going to be what you want to listen to. Alright, let's move on to number 14, and we have the Ossuary Lens by Legion, and I gave this 7.7 out of 10. And these guys are technical death metal, and they're from US as well. I thought they were either Europe or from US, and they are from United States. Obviously, if you're in extreme metal, you definitely know Legion. They have put out some really, really solid stuff, and this new album with it's the first one back with their, I don't know if is he the original vocalist? I think he might be, actually. Yes, he is the original vocalist, with Ezra. So some of my favourites, like I love their Legion, their 2008 EP, the first stuff they ever put out. I love that EP, and I would say that kind of like having Ezra back on this record is kind of like, it's kind of like a modern version of their old kind of stuff, I guess I would say. It's like Damnum I thought was alright, but it wasn't really like, just didn't exactly do it for me. Like, it was alright, but it wasn't anything special, whereas the Ossuary Lens, to me, is definitely a big step up in overall, as an overall product and overall songwriting. Just some really good technical, I guess, melodic death metal as well. They incorporate some of those elements. But yeah, really solid album from Legion. Favorite song on the record, probably The Swarm. Yeah, just like a bit over 3 minute song, really hard hitting, classic song. Yeah, great record by Legion. If you haven't checked that one out, definitely go do that, because if you're into tech death and anything of the extreme melodic sort, then that one definitely should be on your radar. And yeah, go check that out from the boys in Legion. Alright, moving forward to number 13 of the year, and we have Bred to Fail by Hour of Chaos. And I gave this, again, 7.7 out of 10. And these guys are melodic death / thrash from Denmark. And this is also their debut full-length record. And it's a very, very good one at that. This kind of came out of nowhere. I kind of checked it out. I don't know if because melodic death / thrash is one of my favourite genres when done really well. I'd say death metal probably is my favourite one, but melodic death / thrash, or death thrash, when done really well, is like one of my favourite. It just hits really hard, and it can be some of the best metal out there, in my opinion, anyway. And this one definitely is going kind of towards that really, really solid melodic death / thrash. And yeah, that's what it is. It's just kind of this solid melodic death thrash record that kind of just starts and keeps hitting and is catchy, and it's just a good fun listen. Favourite song on the record would probably be, let me have a look. Maybe Necrosis, or hang on, no, Desolation or Necrosis, probably. But yeah, no bad song on the record. Definitely go check that out if you like your melodic death thrash. I have not seen anybody talk about this. Probably quite an underrated band and underrated album, so definitely go check that out if you like your melodic death thrash. And yeah, alright, let's move on to number 12 of the year, and we have Mortality Blast by Blood Expectoration. Kind of an interesting, cool name. And I gave this 7.7 out of 10. And these guys are death metal from Ukraine. This is their second full length. I have not listened to them before this album, but this is like some really kind of filthy old school death metal styled with a little bit of a modern twist, but definitely old school sounding in its entirety and production. Just a really cool, hard-hitting death metal album. As I said, it's definitely up there with one of the best of the year. Yeah, just really fun, really catchy, really groovy. Favorite song on the record, probably Perfect Enemy or Isolated and Mutilated. Also, Humanity's Collapse is just a short, kind of hard-hitting, bloody banger. So definitely check that out if you like your hard-hitting death metal. Now, talking about hard-hitting death metal, let's move on to number 11, and we have another hard-hitting death metal record with The Burial by Blood Court. And I gave this 7.9 out of 10. And these guys, again, death metal from Germany. I believe these guys are a two-man band with one of them pretty much doing everything but vocals, and the other guy doing vocals. I did check out their previous album, 2022. I don't really remember that much from memory, so I do think this is a big step up in terms of songwriting and overall, I guess, just overall end result. Like, this is a really sick death metal album. It's kind of a little bit of aggressive Blood Red Throne mixed with severe torture, classic Cannibal Corpse, and then also a bit of like Putrid Pile, like brutal death metal, especially like the dual vocals from Putrid Pile, like the really harsh highs and the gutturals. That's used a lot on this album, which I think is really cool and I really liked. Yeah, lots of groovy kind of stuff. Just a really kind of fun death metal record by Blood Court. And again, I haven't seen anybody talk about this, so definitely check that out if you like your sick death metal. Favourite song probably would be Dismemberment Command, although Maybe The Entrance, Blood Meal. No, The Entrance, Father Cannibal, or Angel's Bloodshed. They're my top 3 favourite songs on their album. It's hard to choose because they're all very good. And they also have a Cannibal Corpse cover of I Come Blood and The Crippler by Sodom. They also do a cover of that. So, good fun. Also, 2 solid good covers, but the rest of the album is obviously what shines and is what you want to listen to, is the original stuff. So, yeah, go check that out. I actually I got a shirt from them because I think that album cover is also really sick. And overall, I just like supporting underground death metal, so definitely go check those out and go support those boys. You can go check it out on Bandcamp and whatever if you want, but yeah, definitely go check that one out if you like your death metal. Alright, moving on to... Okay, apologies, the camera stopped because it's apparently can't do so long in one video, I don't know why. Anyway, top 10 of the year, and at number 10 we have Of Paint and Ash. Don't know how I got that wrong. I must have written it down originally wrong. It is, yes, Of Paint and Ash by Black Path. And I gave this 7.9 out of 10. And these guys are technical / melodic death metal from Greece. And this is their second full length. And this is a really cool album. Like, very, very technical, very interesting songwriting and interesting elements, lots of contrast, lots of technical stuff, lots of melodic stuff. Do a balance of the two well. Yeah, just a really cool album. Cool album cover, a cool concept overall. Yeah, I do vibe overall with it really well, and obviously that's why, you know, it's number 10 of the year. So favourite song of the record, I would probably have to give it to... Let me have a look. Oh, Abyssal, probably. Izalith. Actually, Pale Angel is probably a pretty solid song too. But, yeah, if you like some very underrated technical melodic death metal, definitely go check that one out. So yeah, good job lads in Black Path, I don't know how we pronounce path. Yeah, I didn't know these guys before I checked them out, but I will definitely be following them in future because they are very solid. Alright, moving forward, we have number 9 of the year, Survival Protocol by Stillbirth, and I gave this 8 out of 10. And these guys are what I would describe as brutal technical death metal / deathcore, because they kind of have elements, I guess, of brutal death metal, technical death metal, deathcore, and a bit of other extreme genres, I guess, you know what I mean. And they also kind of have, I think, what some have described as surf rock, or they have some interesting kind of acoustic, surfy elements throughout the album, but they actually intertwine that really well with lots of the, obviously, brutal technical stuff. But yeah, just a really kind of fun album. It's I believe it's a concept, kind of like a concept album or a continuation from their previous one. It's kind of, the overall theme is kind of about how the Earth is, well, it's kind of, I did read it, I can't remember, I'm going to butcher this, sorry guys. Just look it up. It's essentially how, I think it's kind of like aliens invade the Earth and it's effed up and we have to leave and try and inhabit somewhere else to be able to survive, and it's kind of, that's kind of what it's about. But they just they put all the elements on the album together really well, and it's just a yeah, a really fun, solid record. Favorite song on the album, God. Whew. It's hard because there's a lot of good songs. Throne of Bones is good. Cult of the Green is really solid, and also the title track, Survival Protocol, is really good too. Alright, let's move on to the top 8. Alright, I don't know, I said top 8. Number 8. So the 8th album, well, I think 8th is, that was what tripping me up, but we go number 8. We have Dark Night of the Soul by After Earth, and I gave this 8 out of 10. And these guys are melodic death
metal from Sweden, and this is their second full-length record. And I did also did listen to their previous album in 2023, The Rarity of Reason, and I thought that was not bad. But this is like a massive step up in songwriting. Like, this is very, very, like, kind of arcs back to the classic At the Gates. I mean, if I'm saying Dark Night of the Soul, you kind of think of Slaughter of the Soul, and it kind of is that kind of vibes almost a little bit, but with a modern twist, modern production, I guess. And it's just a really, really, really sick melodic death record. Like, yeah, it's just some really, really well put together melodic death metal. Very good songwriting. Again, production sounds great, guitar tone sounds great, everything's great. Just go check it out if you like melodic death metal. Favourite song, it's going to be very hard to choose. Throw is a banger, absolute banger. And then also probably the title track of Skinwalker would be my top songs, my favourite songs from that record. Okay, we're getting up near the top, getting there. Number 7 of the year. We have Intense Indifference by Vitra, and I gave this also 8 out of 10. And these guys are melodic death thrash, also I believe from Sweden, correct? And this is also their second full-length record. Their last record, Blasphemy Blues, say that 10 times quick, was also very solid, and this again is another improvement in all aspects. Like, this is really well put together melodic death thrash record. Very, very fun. They kind of have some cool, I guess, some creative elements, contrasting creative fun elements that you wouldn't necessarily expect from a melodic death thrash record, but these guys do it very well when it doesn't come off gimmicky or silly or stupid, you know, because some bands can come across like that when they try and put weird elements in, and it just doesn't quite work. But on this album it bloody works, so definitely go check that out. Like Transylvanian Buffet, oh, good, it might even be my favourite song on the record. And then also Hate is just a banger. Yeah, no bad songs on this record. Bloody awesome. Definitely go check out Vitra, Intense Indifference. If you don't, you suck. That's all I'm going to say. Alright. So we're up to top 6 of the year. So before I do jump into the top 6 of the year, I just want to do a quick little section on honourable mentions, albums that just didn't make the top 20, and also EPs that were released this year that I think might be worth checking out, because obviously I don't rank EPs in my top 20 list, so I only do albums, obviously only full lengths, so EPs don't get included. So some EPs that were released in 2025 that I thought might be worth checking out. We have Blazing Treasure Hunt, and the fact is, this was actually, they're going to be releasing a new album, I think next year, or it's unannounced, next year, this year, 2026. But this was kind of like throwaway, or songs that are not going to make the cut for the new album. So they released like a 4-song EP with those rejected songs, if you will. But even those rejected songs are like really good, and it's just a really kind of fun folk metal little EP. So check that out if you like your pirate themed folk metal. We also have Carnal Forge with The Fractured Process. Now nothing groundbreaking, just very solid kind of death thrash, melodic death thrash. But Carnal Forge haven't put out much in a while, so if you really like those guys, you get a few new songs before they put out new albums, so definitely check that out. Then we also have Apparition Day by Hypermass. Some very solid kind of melodic death metal, I guess a bit of technical elements in there. Solid EP. I really like their previous album, so just another good release from them. Just another cool EP if you want to check that out. In terms of albums that I want to give a little quick shout out to that didn't quite make the top 20 list of the year, Dawn of a Malefic Dominion by Dehuman Rain is a cool death metal album that just missed out. Obviously Testament's Parabellum it's quite good, but it kind of, I think, it wasn't. What's the? I'm trying to think of words, and my words aren't wording right now, which is fantastic. Every time I turn the camera on, my words don't word. Don't you just love that? You always think English isn't my fucking first language. Anyway, I think just some of the songwriting, overall flow. I think there's a little bit of filler on Parabellum. I think there's some good stuff on there, but I think they needed to kind of just be a little more strict with what they put into the writing process and the end product. Otherwise, it's still a solid album, so definitely check that out. Also, Mind Trap by Inhuman Condition. Also a very solid death thrash record. Blood Red Throne, Silt Skin. Obviously, you'd probably be surprised that they didn't make my top 20 of the year, being my favourite band. But the new record just wasn't quite as good as their last two. Definitely Imperial Congregation, which is my album of the year. Back in, oh lord, when was Imperial Congregation released? It was 2019, maybe? Was it? I'm getting old, man. No, I don't want to open Bandcamp. I just want to open, actually, if that opens, that'll be fine. No, that is not what I wanted. I should know this being my favourite death metal band, but apparently I don't. Because I turn the camera on and I fucking forget everything I've ever learnt. I'm pretty sure it was 2019. If I get this wrong. It was 2021? Fuck, I'm getting old. Anyway, that was my album of the year by far. Like, nothing even came close. And the Stilt Skin just wasn't quite as good. And yeah, it just missed out. One more I'll give you is Dissonance Theory by Corona. We have Corona beers here in Australia, so I'm used to saying Corona. Another solid thrash, very progressive thrash metal. A bit too progressive for me, which is why I didn't end up in my top 20 list. But yeah, there's some albums that are honourable mentions that you might want to check out as well, that didn't make the top 20 of the year. So, let's now get into the top 6 albums of the year. And in 6th place we have Embrace the Awakening by Mesro. And I gave this 8.1 out of 10. And these guys are thrash from Sweden. Sweden, man! Sweden are doing some really, like, a lot of Swedish albums and bands on the list this year, which is really cool. But you know, this is just a really well put together thrash record. Like, very, very good songwriting, very catchy, pretty much no filler, great production, great modern production. Yeah, just a really, really good, solid, fun thrash record. If I had to choose a favourite song on the album, what's a very cool mate? Sleeping Cataclysm, Symphony of Twisted Souls. Yeah, probably those two. Maybe The Moment to Rise. But yeah, just if you like your thrash, if you like good thrash, go check it out, because this is great thrash. Alright, moving on, number 5 of top 5 of the year. In 5th place we have Awaken the Gods by Concrete Age, and I gave this 8.2 out of 10. Now these guys are melodic death / folk metal and a lot of other extreme influences. These guys are from London, UK, originally from Russia. And honestly, these guys are like just ridiculously good. Their album last year, Motherland, like they've released an album every year for the last 3 years, 2023, 2024, and 2025. Their album last year I think got like number 3 of the year, and this is back again number 5, which is showing you how good bloody quality they are. And it is just this awesome, I use a lot of ethnic folk instruments as well, and it just blends. Just, there's kind of not many bands that sound like them. Like, you listen to them and they have their own sound. They're super catchy. It's just very, very well put together songwriting and start to finish. There's no bad songs. They're all catchy. They're all fun. It's just a great record to put on and bang your head and jump around and have fun. And that's why it's at number 5 of the year. If I had to choose a favourite song on the record, this is going to be really hard, because they're, honestly, Mid-East Boogie is just like it just makes you want to dance, bro. It's fun as shit. Awaken the Gods
Title track is also really good. Curse Reincarnation, also another really freaking sick record, sick song on the record. Yeah, if you've never heard of these guys, and I feel like they're a very underrated band in general, go check them out because they consistently have been releasing very, very good albums for the last 3 or 4 or 5 years. Very good stuff. Alright, number 4 of the year, we have Non Compos Mentis by Devolver, and I gave this 8.3 out of 10. And these guys are melodic death / metalcore from Canada, and this is their second full length. And this is just a hard-hitting, crazy good melodic death metalcore record. Like, it kind of reminds me a bit of My Brain Is Not Braining, which is fantastic. I would say, what are some of those? No, okay. Sometimes the Metal Archive Similar Artist tab kind of works. Other times it's very off. The similar artist they recommend there is very off. I'm just going to go to my library, go to genres, because I want to tell you what they remind me of, because it's very similar, but they kind of have their own little twist. They're very kind of, it reminds me of, no, not them, no, can I go, so it kind of, yeah, a bit of like, kind of reminds me of if you mixed The Darkest Hour with, oh my god, scroll down, my brain's not braining. The Darkest Hour with, no, oh, I suck. My brain is not braining. Sorry, Unearth. I don't know why I couldn't think of them, but it's kind of like The Darkest Hour cross Unearth, and then with their own kind of twist. Yeah, just a very solid, fun record from start to finish. There's not really too much to kind of complain about on this record. Like, it's fast, it's fun, it's catchy, it's straight to the point. It doesn't fuck around. It sounds great. 32 minutes long. And yeah, that's why it's number 4 of the year. So definitely go check that out. I have not seen anybody talk about it. I think it's definitely underrated. Definitely think they're an underrated band. I should probably go back and check their debut record, which is self-titled. And hopefully it's, just as solid. But yeah, definitely go check them out if you like some catchy, melodic, hard-hitting death metal. Yeah, alright. Now, top 3 of the year. Moving on, at 3. Top 3. I don't know why I said that too many times. Alright. At number 3 of the year, we have Confinement of Flesh by Malformed. And I gave this 8.4 out of 10. And these guys are some disgusting, filthy death metal from, I think they're from Finland. Are they from? Yes, Finland. I got that correct. And actually, this is their bloody debut record. They have a live album and an EP before this. And this is their debut full length. And it's just a hard-hitting... Like, I thought this might have been the album of the year. It was between the top 3. Any of these initially, I thought, could have been the album of the year, because they're like they have their own sick, catchy uniqueness to them. And yeah, this is like super duper fun record, just filthy, straight to the point, old school death metal, very, I wouldn't say sludgy, it's gurgly, but it's not like, the production is good. It doesn't like make everything sound like it's stuck together by tar or some shit. Like, it actually still sounds good, but it has that hard-hitting brutality that I want in death metal, and that catchiness and grooviness that drives the whole album through and through and makes you want to bang your head. So yeah, definitely go check out that Malformed Confinement of Flesh. Favourite song on the record, oh man, Eyes Torn Out, Obscure Wells and Beyond, or Return of the Plague. Honestly, any song could be my favourite because they're all good. No bad songs in the album. So yeah, man, go check that out. It's at 3rd of the year for a reason. If you like your sick death metal, go check out Malformed. Alright, the runner-up album of the year at number 2.
we have Thirst for Chaos by Death Reapers, and I gave this 8.4 out of 10. And these guys are melodic death metal from Poland. And this is their frickin' debut record, and it is bloody amazing. Like, this is some of the best melodic death metal I have heard in at least 5 years, man. Like, this is for a debut. I think I had a look. The guys in this band all look quite young. Like, they're definitely not like seasoned veterans from, you know, it's not like X at the Gates, X in Flames and made a new band. These guys are all original dudes. This is their baby, their band. Death Reapers from Poland. Man, just go check it out. It's a really catchy, a really well written, really fun record, but it sounds amazing to production, really good. Like, hats off to whoever did that. Really sick guitar. Everything kind of just flows together really well. Favorite song, if I had to choose one, oh boy. Nah, I can't choose one because they're all so good. Oh, Break the Window maybe, or no, absolutely no. I don't know. I'm not choosing because they're all really good. So definitely go check that out. Again, another underrated band that I haven't heard anyone talk about, but just a really good record, and I will be definitely playing that for a very long time to come. Alright, you waited for it. Here is the album of the year. In first place, we have The Domestication by Yardfield Colony, and I gave this 9 out of 10 buckaroonies. And these guys are death metal from Germany. Apologies, the camera shut off again. And yeah, this is just like everything I kind of want from a death metal band, from a death metal record. Like, great songwriting, very catchy, very groovy, but a very kind of like, it's set the artwork and the overall vibe and the sound and the tone and the theme all kind of sucks you in, and it's just a very well put together, conducive death metal record. It's kind of about the domestication, I guess. It's kind of like a societal, a bit of a commentary on the downfall, I guess, of society and the lacks that a lot of people have done, I guess, a domestication. That also goes into a lot of kind of other aspects, you know, like war, these other kind of things, you know, parasitic conditions, these kind of different kind of stuff, and it's just a really bloody good listen. Like, if you like death metal and you haven't listened to this, just go do it. Like, it's just that good. Favorite song, if I had to choose one, probably Knee Deep in Feces and The Secret Code of Annihilation. It's like, especially the latter half, you've got like Odyssey, Knee Deep in Feces, The Secret Code of Annihilation, War Masturbator. Like, those 4 songs in a row is like almost better than like majority of anything else outside of the top 20 that's been released this year. Like, those 4 songs alone, like, they just hit back to back. It just flows so well. Just kind of captures you in and draws you into this doomy. Again, it's called a domestication, and that's the vibe for the record, but it isn't a doomy record at all. It's very, I'll describe it, I think they call themselves modern death metal, which it is. They got old school death metal elements with like their own kind of modern twists and turns and on. Or I also want to say the solos on this record are freaking sick, and they definitely tasteful and add an element. I think a lot of not necessarily death metal, but a lot of metal bands, regardless of genre, can add solos just for the sake of it. And I think like the songs should need a solo to make it good. Like, if you have to add a solo to make a song interesting, it's probably not that interesting, but the solos on here are well done. It's not like they just added them for the sake of it. But yeah, obviously, like, the melody and harmony is really well intertwined. It doesn't lose the heaviness. Yeah, man, just a really well put together album. And yeah, that brings us to the end of our top 20 albums of the year of 2025. I hope you enjoyed this video and discovered some new records and some new music that you can jam and listen to enter 2026. And I'll see you guys back here on the channel. Hopefully not at the end of 2026 to do my my next year list. Hopefully I will upload some more, but no promises. But yeah, stay metal. Comment down below if you liked any of these albums, if you checked them out, if they also were some of your top albums of the year, or if none of these, if some of them that you haven't even listened to but they sound cool and you want to check them out and you go and do it and you think they're cool, let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And yeah, until then, stay metal. Robbo signing off. Have a good new year. See ya.